Do you struggle with energy, fuel in the tank to consistently go for your goals? Well, stick with me here because I'm going to share with you my number one energy hack that has made the difference. That's all the difference in my own journey that you can take some example from or guidance from if you wish. So hang with me here. And before you do, make sure if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Or if you're a regular viewer and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe. And I will see you in this episode. Hey there, I'm Katie Joy, the Global Butterfly, and I'm all about helping you to transform your life and business with love from the inside out. So if you're a coach, a healer, a consultant, an entrepreneur, a small business person, or an aspiring one, and you want to know how to create a lifestyle that really truly works for you in a soul-aligned way, well, then I love to share with you those hints, tips, strategies, and the ideas, insights, and inspiration for you to be able to implement in your own journey. So, and I'm still learning all the way, all the time, but I just love to be able to share as we go along. And also just to take a lot of the examples from inside my containers that I share with my paid clients to be able to share with you and give you a startup along the way. Now, before we get started, because today I'm going to share with you my number one energy hack so that you can go for your goals in a soul-aligned way. Now, I actually have a free gift for you. If you haven't already got it, please go and get your copy. It's a 33-page workbook that it gets you to set your intentions, clarify your goals so that you can create your best year yet. Now, that's free, no cost, 100% free. The link is down below, so make sure you go and get your own copy. There's a couple of podcast video trainings that guide you through the whole entire workbook as well. It's pretty cool. So today, the reason why I also share that with you to maybe go get a copy if you haven't already got it now is I want to share with you the number one energy hack. One of the biggest things that I get from a lot of people who come to work with me is they're often burnt out from hustle and grind, or they're in procrastination, freeze mode, because they're in overwhelm and they don't even know where to start. Or maybe they've got a vision, but they don't really have a strategy. Or maybe they have neither of that or some of that, but they don't have the belief. And all of that comes down to having the energy. Now, when you do get really crystal clear on your goals, which I go through in part 1 of 2 in this book. And so part 1, I take you through the clarification process, because when you get really crystal clear on what it is that you personally are aiming for, to create, to make magnificent in your life and realize and manifest, then when you have that clarity, you have the energy, you have the confidence, you have the insight, the inspiration to be able to move. And inspiration simply means in spirit. And that means that you have that internal energy drive rather than looking outside of yourself for the clues to motivate you. So that part 1 is really important. Go grab the workbook because that will take you through that first part and it's going to get you the energy in that aspect. I haven't given you my number 1 hack yet. But the second part of this workbook, I'm going to mention in today's short episode about the principle of stop, start, less, more. And really what these 4 aspects do help you to direct that energy in alignment with the goals, the vision and the goals that you are going for, so that you know how to utilize that energy correctly. But what's the hack, Katie? I'm hearing you say, what's the hack? Listen, people, I hear people regularly, yet again, and I used to do this myself too. So I see it and I want to share this gift with you so that maybe it can give you a little bit of a shortcut instead of scrambling around for all the things outside of yourself. What most people are looking for energy, first of all, is everything outside of an outside control, an outside experience. And so let's start with even substances. Most people go for, let me have more coffee or caffeinated drinks, or worse, stimulants that are drugs, prescription or otherwise, to be able to go for. And most people who are creating something, whether it's a business or they're aspiring for an entrepreneur, a side hustle, it usually layered on top of a bunch of other responsibilities, family, children, maybe a full-time job, or something else, maybe caring for other people in your life as well, parents or community. And so it tends to be like, let me have these things so that I can help boost my energy more. And then because you don't have a lot of time, you're cutting out on sleep, and then you're also cutting out on um, preparing food, nutrition, eating healthy things, healthy food as a priority, and it tends to be paying for convenience food that are processed and then deplete the body of more energy. I still haven't got to the number one hack yet. I'm telling you where most of us go to first to try and get more energy, right? But then I just want to let you know what this problem is so that you can see it in contrast when I give you the hack. So the challenge with eating the convenience foods that are low in nutrition, they don't have any nutrition pretty much. And so you eat too much and then you overload the digestive system. So now you've just put a glut of food in there and now the body is just like, ugh, and it doesn't know what to do, right? So it shuts down. You don't have the brain power. You don't have the clarity of mind. Worse, you might go and jack it up again with some more alcohol or stimulants, or sorry, not alcohol, more coffee, which can lead to having more alcohol at the end of the day to bring you back down. Hey, guilty. I used to do that, right? I used to have, many years ago, I used to have 5 or 6 cups of coffee. And then in the afternoon, early evening, it'd be 1, 2, 3 glasses of wine and rinse and repeat, right? But that would mess with my whole system. And so I didn't have the energy. It always comes with a great cost. And the other cost that comes with going for convenience foods, stimulants, or anything else that's outside of the self is we move further and further away from that meaningful goal that we're going for. So we lack fulfillment, and so we're not gratified. And so we're looking for the instant dopamine hit in short-term gratification again through food, maybe alcohol or drugs or smoking, or even more hustle and grind because there's some immediate instant feedback, but it burns us out. Okay, so I wanted to be able to highlight that, what not to do. And if you're doing that, don't judge yourself. I'm not judging you. I'm just giving you an example of, okay, hey, maybe stop looking out there, and here's the number one hack instead. And before I get you to that, I just want to highlight that all of us have a different energetic signature. And so what works for me may not work for you. But what I want to share with you is the framework so that you can play with it and assess it with yourself to make it work for you, to choose accordingly to your own energetic pattern. And so we not only have an energetic signature, we also have seasons in our life. And that's important because a lot of us are trying to do things like we did when we were in our 20s or our 30s, or we're trying to do things when with an energetic value connected to it when we've got lots of responsibilities like young children, right? And maybe you're a single parent with children and building a business or working and trying a side hustle. And so you've got to be able to appreciate there's a season in life as well. And this is where having key energy counts the most to optimize it for yourself so that you have the clarity and the insight to be able to know what levers to pull that give you the most bang for your buck. Are you with me? What I simply mean with that is like in the 80-20 rule, Pareto's law, when you actually focus on the 20% of activities that give you the 80% of results, now you're utilizing your energy better and you're being more productive. Okay. My last episode was about my number one productivity hack. That links in with this one, which is my number one energy hack. And so I want to share with you, when I was in my early 20s, 18 to 25, my first career was a personal trainer and fitness instructor. And so I didn't have a corporate job, but I was up at 4 a.m. and then going to do 6 a.m. classes. And then I would do sometimes 2 or 3 classes in the morning in the middle of the day. Sometimes I would go and do a middle class in the middle of the city, like a circuit class at 12 o'clock for the corporate people to come into the little circuit gym and do a training there. And then in the evening, I'd often do anywhere from 1 to 3 classes at night. It wasn't uncommon for me to do 7 classes a day. Now that's a lot. Now, if I didn't manage my energy, there's no way that I would have been able to function in that, because there were some weeks I used to coach sometimes up to 25 or 30 classes a week. 21 classes in a 3-day period when it was 7 classes 3 days in a row. Now, I got pretty clever in how I use my energy. I'd be a lot of bringing all my intention and my focus, and I would demonstrate, but I wouldn't necessarily have to use my whole body the whole time. actually doing all the workouts, so I could do that. But I also made sure that I made room for regular naps, regular rest, and regular even meditation, breath work. Now, again, I still haven't shared the number one energy hack. I am sharing with you right now first, just being aware of energetic signatures and energetic seasons. So I'm giving you the example first of my energetic signature, which is very different clearly already from that pattern of what some people do when they go into corporate, for example. Now, I did a small stint in corporate for a very short period of time. Let me tell you, my body didn't like it at all. And I can appreciate, the truth is, most people's bodies don't either. We're not designed to be function on in hustle and grind for an 8-9 hour day and then go home and attend to families and everything else. It is taxing, to say the least. But if you are currently in one of those situations, go back and see the number one productivity hack, as well as combine it with today's number one energy hack, and you will have some immediate solutions to implement today to take micro steps that compound to macro results. So the second period of my life, to give you another example, from the age of 25 to 32, my career was as a paramedic. And so now welcome to the world of shift work. And then for the last 2 years of my career, we always worked, by the way, in an 8-day cycle. So in the city in Perth, we used to work 2 days on, 2 10-hour days, and 2 14-hour nights. Now you can imagine, it's not like you just clock on, clock off. You can't exactly say to someone at 7:56, sorry, hold your heart attack, right? And so we often do extended shifts. It was more common than not to do extended shifts. And my last 2 years as a paramedic, I then also worked up in a hot, dusty mining town called Port Hedland. And there, when I was working there as a paramedic, there was 4 of us working on the same model as an 8-day working shift with volunteers. But that meant that if we didn't have a volunteer working with us as the primary officer, that we had to then become the secondary officer between shifts with the other primary officer. Right? So that meant that we had to sometimes work long shifts. And it wasn't uncommon for me to work literally 26 hours straight without a break. Okay. OK, health and safety, that's another video. But my point, and it actually became part of the reason why I ultimately left the career, because it just was, to me, insane. And it certainly didn't work with my energy. But again, shift work. So now my body's bumping around. And I tell you, for those of you, because a lot of my clients, a lot of people are attracted to me from the medical world as well, and nurses and even some doctors sometimes, and psychologists and chiropractors and alternative health industry as well. But so many people know what this shift work is like, and it's very challenging, and it can stress you out and age you very quickly if you don't manage your energy. And it can also, add lots of health issues to it. So I'm sharing those with you because I want to let you know I have not had it easy. I've just simply managed my energy the whole way through by making this number one thing my core value. Now, before I tell you this number one hack for my energy, please know that there have been periods of time when I stopped prioritizing this. And every time I didn't prioritize it, everything got drained. It's like punching holes in a bucket, right? So it didn't matter what I did, I was leaking more energy as well. So recently, I've realigned this number one thing to make sure it is top of my list. And it came out of, I want to share with you here. I'll tell you what the hack is first. The number one energy hack is to value health and well-being first. Now, that's different than to making it a goal for getting into your best fitness, or to increase your strength, or to increase your flexibility, or to perhaps maybe your goal is to be able to get a solid, consistent, 8 to 10 hours sleep a night. But those are goals. They come underneath values. So you have vision first, then values, and then goals, because your goals line up in accordance with your values. Why is this important? Well, when you make health and well-being one of your top priority values, which simply means most important to you, then you are going to make all your decisions and take the actions aligned in accordance to those values. If you don't pin that as a top value, you will not prioritize it. it becomes wish-washy in the game of life. It comes secondary or at the bottom of the list. Sometimes it doesn't make the list as you fulfill everybody else's list. So what does that look like? Well, when you prioritize health and well-being as a top value, for me, my very number one value is spirituality, love, right? Number two value is health and well-being. For a short period of time in the scheme of my life, it it wasn't pinned as my highest value. Why? I was in a season of life where I became a single mum, looking after a baby, building a business, and while it should have been a top health value, the truth was I was, for quite a few years, I was exhausted. I didn't get consistent sleep. The idea of of exercising. Look, I used the gym for the first 3 years of my child being a baby, an infant to toddler. I used the gym to put him in the crèche, to then go put my headset on, set the timer, find a mat in the corner of the gymnasium and sleep for 2 hours. So I did what I could in that season rather than use the treadmill or the gyms, right, the weights, because I just didn't have the energy for it. In fact, when I did push to do that during that period of time, I ended up needing more sleep just to compensate for my body being so burnt out. So you might be in a season where you're still adjusting. Maybe you've been through some trauma. Maybe you're just readapting to a new transition in your life. Go gently. Give yourself the honor of getting your body in balance first through sleep, as well as, making some changes through your nutrition and movement. But they come when you pin health and well-being as a top value. So when you do that, you're going to make decisions on a daily basis and a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a quarterly basis. Every decision then becomes aligned with that health and well-being. What am I going to eat? What am I going to prepare? Am I going to move today? Am I going to go join the gym? All those decisions will then line up. If you don't have that value there and you're just shooting for a goal, you get distracted and caught up, and you might have some momentum for a little bit, but you'll lose it. Okay, so that's the number one hack for increasing, for number one hack for energy, so that you can increase your energy and have the consistency. Now, when you get this 33-page workbook on how to clarify your goals and create your best year yet by setting your intentions, I go through a very important process called Stop, Start, Less, More in part 2. And so during that experience is when you get clear on your goals, you then are able to align your actions, the decisions that you make and the actions you take in accordance with those goals. But first of all, it's pinning that core value. So when you pin health and well-being, then your goals are going to be related to that. And then your actions, your decisions and actions that you take will be aligned with that. But I go through a framework of 4 very powerful questions. Stop, start, less, more. The questions go deeper. The process is very clear in here, and it's free for you to get. So just download your copy, use it, and go through the podcast training that goes with it, but also refer to it with this experience that I'm sharing with you today, especially when it comes to your number one energy hack. But this is the Stop, Start, Less, More is related to any goal, but every goal needs to be pinned and connected to a core value. If you don't have your core value lined up with that goal, you are not going to be consistent in taking action. You might take some, but then you'll sabotage it. And so this little process, but very significant one, is available for you in this free workbook. So go grab your copy, setting your intentions, clarify your goals to create your best year yet. And I use this not just every year, I use it every 90 days. I also use it as a monthly reflection as well, to reflect, review, renew, and then to reassess what am I going to stop doing, what I'm going to start doing, what I'm going to do less of, what am I going to do more of. That's all lining me up with that core goal. And with reference to having more energy, it'll be with your goals aligned with your health and well-being. So go grab your copy now. What does my life look like right now with that? Again, probably very different to a lot of people's, because most people are still in this program that they have to keep do. I always look at what are my top things that I need to do for a day, and then I slow down to speed up. I absolutely prioritize sleep as a top priority for me because it lines up with my health and well-being. I absolutely prioritize meditation and having even a 10 or 15 minute little nap in the day, sometimes 30 minutes or an hour. And I absolutely prioritize quality food, preferably organic or grass-fed foods. And I definitely prioritize movement. And as now that I'm getting older, I'm currently 48 at the time that I'm shooting this, and I know that, you know, hormones start to shift with perimenopause, as well as muscle degradation, if that's not maintained or even intentionally built upon. That's part of the health and well-being plan for me in the season of my life right now. And wherever you're at right now, you want to make sure that you start with pinning value point health and well-being, and then looking at what does that mean for you. How will you show up when you are in your optimal health and well-being? Close your eyes and think about that and just see it. What does that look like for you? And then you make your decisions in accordance with that. Go and try that and come back and tell me how it goes for you. And let me know what even challenges you have along the way. I can create some more content with that. But has this been really valuable for you, just to have an awareness that maybe it's not the goal that you need to have the first focus on? Maybe it's not even the action step. Oh, Katie, what's the strategy? First of all, what is the core value? What is your top value? Are you living it? Is it showing up in the actions you take and the decisions that you make? If it's not, then go revisit back that value, pin it, anchor it in. Now make your decisions in accordance with that. I hope that really gives you some insight to take some action, and start with the micro action, because micro actions compound to macro results. Many blessings, love, light, and manifesting miracles, magic, and more. And before I see you on the next episode, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you hit like, and let me know down below if you got great value from this, or if you have any further questions that I can create some more content for you, because that's my goal this year, and helping you to be able to create your best year yet. Mwah! See you next time.